Okay, so got that going up. That looks good. I need to check the webcam though. Cool, so that's up. Sounds good. Let's roll. Hey there, hi there, everybody. The maintenance is done, and we can finally get back into the game. And I got a good bit of arena grinding to keep going and catch up on, so I figure a great way to start off is to get destroyed by Medusa here. I'm joking. That looks pretty good. Cool. So, there we go. I was kind of hoping it would be a shorter maintenance tonight, but nope, it was about the usual 3 hours for them to do whatever it is that they do. But you know, whatever, so long as the game keeps going and keeps running on my end, on our end, I can set aside 3 hours each week for them to stay on top of things. We're running into the stupid buffering bug again. Oh well. But the video is buffering for you guys. My apologies. Looks like it may be picking up a little bit. Hopefully, make things a little bit smoother for you guys. But I think it's just the various systems being screwy. So tonight's grind is pretty straightforward. I've already gotten the milestones, so it's just going through as many champs as I can get through, putting up some points, and we'll see what happens come Thursday morning. Still saying that there's a buffering issue. So, my apologies again. But the more, so I've been looking more into Sorcerer Supreme, and she does seem like she's going to be a good bit of fun. Still stand by her. My initial assessment that she's above average, pretty awesome, and fairly on par with Clairvoyant. Just depends on the situation and what you're going to need her for. So, plus she just looks smooth and fun to play. So, we'll see. Actually, once I get done with this round, I need to go and double check, see how much time I've got left on the 6-star rotation. I'm hoping and assuming that by the time that I get through the 5s and high-ranking 5-star rank 4s, hopefully we got some stuff starting to refresh again. That's not good. But we'll see. And unfortunately, I was making the most out of that downtime. Got a new video uploaded, set to premiere tomorrow morning. That should be fun. For those of you who have followed the live stream previously, it might be a bit familiar, but I edited it down for time. So stay tuned for that. I think that ultimately is going to be my end goal, is to get a new video up every 2 or 3 days or so, outside of the live streams. The live streams have just been fun because that's just all, me playing the game normally anyway. So may as well get to play with some of you, get to chat and say howdy, and hang out a spell. I gotta say, I'm always pleasantly surprised to see the early release bundles for future champs. And today with Storm X, I was really happy to see that they had that. I wasn't surprised, but I was really happy to see that. I made the mistake of hitting the live stream button instead of the record button for that, and unfortunately, I don't have that video. But spoilers, didn't wind up getting featured or sub-featured. But I did get to wake up my 5-star Sentinel, so that's something, I guess. Just means I'll have to wind up either grinding the 4-star in Arena or hopefully get lucky with crystals at some point. With the new champs being leaked as being White Widow, I'm calling her White Widow because there's too many Black Widows already. Speaking of whom, got a Black Widow right now. But a White Widow and Red Guardian. So be interesting to see who's first. Because they're going to be one paired with Storm X in the crystals, with Storm X having a slightly higher drop rate, being the sub-featured. So hopefully they're both good. Hopefully it's not another Mole Man repeat. Hope springs eternal, I guess, right? Oh. That's right, I was going to check in on my 6-stars. Got Gavin and I got distracted. So if you guys wound up going for those early release crystals, I really hope that you had good luck and or at least happy or content with whomever you pulled. I know those things are always all over the place, and I do appreciate the freebies they throw in too, so there's always that little consolation prize. The way things are going, I am hoping to open up another 6-star probably within the next couple weeks. But depends how much I grind out story mission, because I haven't finished the monthly quest yet. So I should have good 2,500 6-star shards coming in that way too. So it'll be really close. but yeah, ballpark about 2 weeks. And by then, who knows what'll happen. 6 stars for me are really exciting now. Really, really exciting. Because it just reminds me of what takes me back, like when I was still fresh in the game, and every pull is somebody new or first time awakening or something different. And because I still use all of my 6 stars in arena grinds, it's kind of nice getting some of those old champs that I haven't played in a long time, just to take them out for a spin again, like a Black Bolt, for example. I haven't played Black Bolt in ages until I pulled his 6 star. Now it's nice to kind of just reacquaint myself with his kit. Kind of feels like old times. Stay thirsty, my friends. Okay, so 6 stars. 20 minutes. Hour, 20 minutes. So, okay, so I might be able to get to a few of these. So that's nice. Get some extra points. At least a couple of rounds before I just completely crash for the night. I'm not tired. You are tired. Also took the chance to just give the YouTube main page a bit of a little facelift, and as well as my my HUD here for Elgato. So that's new. That's different. I'll take it. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I gotta tweak something. So I'll turn on the preview there. Stupid. So we are going to add text. What? Sorry, no, this makes super riveting everything. Oh, that's right, it's in here now. Okay, so that is saved. See if that updates real time. I wanted to throw up and get started with some of the new subs. Just acknowledge and say howdy and thank you for subscribing. So just keep cycling through on this. So hello to all my new friends, to the new RobVonShoes. Hey PP, how you doing? How you doing this good evening? Glad I caught you. Actually, I'm glad this whole thing wound up working out because I set up the stream to get going at 8 my time, and totally forgot that there was maintenance tonight. So fun times. But anyway, like I was getting at earlier, it was fun seeing the Storm X bundles in the store a little bit earlier today, so that was cool. I'm still really looking forward to when she's actually released into the game a couple weeks from now, a week and a half from now, in fact. And I'm kind of I'm glad that they have Morningstar as the next champ, the next featured champ, because she's really solid to get for those who don't have her, or especially don't have her awakened. But then it's nice to have an off week for me too, since I've got her both uh, regular and awakened. So I'll just be going for milestones. Nice little break for me and chance for me to catch my breath between the arena grind here and whatever I wind up doing for Storm. Because I'm going to get me one of those. Now sue me, it's the new shiny champ, and each champ each month is new and shiny and exciting. But I just flip for her design. The fact that she has a solid kit to back it up is awesome. But that design is, to me, is awesome. So kudos to you, Kabam Art Department. Now there was a level up event. I don't know if it's still going on now, but it was going earlier today. And even though there's a few champs that I can level up, and there's still the tier 2 that I gotta burn before that expires in 3 weeks, I'm just took the chance today and probably the next couple level ups to just catch up on some of the 3 stars that have been sitting on the bench for ages. Especially with the monthly event going on right now that just throw rank up materials, excuse me, at you every which way. That's the one I wound up going with, at least. The rank up option as opposed to the shards option. So it'll be good to finally bring them up and do a little something with them. Just for kicks. But then that also buys me more time to try and flesh out as many extra tier 5 basic shards between now and 3 weeks from now. So hopefully I can rank up a 6-star from 1 to 2. Because otherwise it's going to be probably a rank 5-star maybe. A couple rank 4s perchance. I don't know, play it by ear. There's always somebody to rank up in this game. Ooh, knock knock. I love knock knocks. Who's there? All right, so keep cycling through some of these rank 4s. I got maybe 6 or 7 teams left to get to my 5 or my 4-stars, so should be good. Should be good. Okay, cargo. Cargo who? Oh, well, I think of it. With Nick Fury, I was fighting a Nick Fury with Magneto a little bit back, just fighting him mindlessly, and it must have been Arena or something. And I just fired off my special 2 as Magneto, just because. But I wound up firing it off right as he was ticking over from decoy to real Nick Fury. So the special 2 hit right as as he died and came back, and then wound up power locking him at about 5%, and then just avoiding all that degen nonsense. So it got me thinking, like, who other, you could use besides Magneto with some super lucky and careful gameplay to block the heals for Nick Fury and just keep him super low, somewhere in the single digit range. You could probably do it with Vision, because it would have to be like an instantaneous power lock. But I think it's just Vision and Magneto, because everybody else takes a couple hits to get to that point. Cargo. Cargo who? No, Owl go who? Cargo beep beep. You got me. Nice. Yeah, yeah. I love me some good dad jokes. I had a couple in my repertoire before I was a dad, but now that I'm a dad, each each new kid comes with a shiny handbook and a dad joke book too, so you can get caught up and brush up on some good ones. Or it's like the like a video game, right? I level up and then immediately I'm presented with a new skill tree and I get to, plug in some points and just inherently get that knowledge immediately. So yeah, dad jokes. Those are awesome. Thank you. You tried Warlock and Gulk for the power lock on Nick Fury. See, those might work. Warlock probably not, because that's more of a power drain over time than like a hard power lock, right? Gulk Gulk triggers that on one of his specials, I think. Yeah. So let me look at that quick, because like Vision's heal block is on his special 1, because special 2 is power burn. Vision would be really tough because that only triggers if you're currently healing, I think. So you would have that, a couple of frames to launch that. I'm looking for Gulk. Actually, Gulk should work. Well, actually, Gulk could only really work. It'd be a lot easier if somehow Fury had a debuff on him, because the debuff would have to push him from like that 1% to 0% back to real Nick Fury. And then while it's doing that, you would have to launch the special 1 right before he drops to 0%. So by the time it hits, he's already healing. think it's plausible. I just think it's like a pain in the butt to do. Nah, because well, maybe Torch for his base kit, but Despair I don't think works. Just because of Nick's ability, because it can't be affected by ability accuracy reduction. So like all your petrifies and stuff too wouldn't work. So I'm saying I think it has to be either it has to be like a hard heal block. Because I don't even think like a debuff immunity. Like if you were using Nick on offense and you got paired up with a node that was debuff or buff immunity, I still think he heals. I think. Because I know for those buff immunity ones, Heimdall synergies are useless, which is super annoying. Well, yeah. Maybe that's why they don't want to bring Scarlet Witch over. Just because it would ruin their meta with Nick Fury. There we go. I think we got it solved. All right. So, moving on down the roster there. Here's a dad joke for you. So my kid came up to me today with his textbook and he asked me for a bookmark. I said, "I'm sorry, son. My name is not Mark. It's Rob." I think the more grown you get, the better. And the more public it is, too. It's one thing to tell a dad joke at home when it's just you and your kid or your spouse or whomever. But if you go into like a public space, you can just embarrass the heck out of them and it's just 10 times better. So what champs do I want added? I think the most interesting, like with the leak today or yesterday or whatever it was, Professor X was right up there. Because I don't think there's any reason why he shouldn't be in the game currently. You know, there's enough champs with unique animations between like your Mojos and your Modocs, you know, where like a dude in a hover chair is totally plausible. Plus, I've always hoped that he would be like the mutant version of Beardo or even Reed Richards now, where he just synergizes with everybody all over the place. And like he's the go-to mutant that you just always bring because he's always paired up with somebody. So to see that he's actually like unofficially confirmed, that's fun. I think Mystique is up there too, just because the potential that she could bring to the game. Like if they figure out how to make her transformations plausible, I think that opens up the doors for, you know, a bunch of other champs too. You know, Chameleon if you want to do a Spider-Man champ. Um, I think it would be interesting if they, with the various mergers and whatnot with Fox, if they brought over um, a couple of the outlier characters too from either the video games or from Spider-Verse and do a proper Miles Morales. That'd be fun. Uh, maybe Aunt May in a mech suit. That'd be fun. And then a Hydro Man, I think too, just because I think the animations for him could be really fun. But otherwise, I'm more often than not, I'm pretty okay with whoever they decide to add. Just because usually, like the randos that you've never heard from wind up getting like really interesting kits, and it's like the play styles that make the character for me. Like a lot of these guys in the game currently, I hadn't ever really heard of. I was a Spider-Man fan growing up, so the Spider-Man characters pretty familiar with, and loose understanding of the X-Men. But yeah, I had no idea who like Iron Man was or anybody like that until the MCU started up. Uh-oh. So long as they make the players interesting, I'm pretty okay with whomever. And by the sound of the leaks, we're going to be getting a bunch of those randos. So yeah, well, I'm glad I inspired you with the some dad joke wisdom. Shadowcat, that could be interesting. Comic Shadowcat, right? I mean, I know they aren't doing Netflix anymore, but comic Shadowcat could be fun. Yeah, there you go. Craven, I'm really surprised they haven't gotten to yet. Same with Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger, especially, just because they really seem to have an affinity for unique pairings like that. Aunt May the Duck. Yeah, why not? Yeah, Sandman I think would be could be in the same category if they figure out how to do Mystique correctly. Like you could shift and phase as opposed to just being like, you know, another XL champ with, who turns his hands into fists or turns his hands into fists. That was dumb. Into like cinder blocks or spikes or something like that, like a King Groot. I mean, honestly, you could almost just reskin King Groot, you know? I hope they don't do that. But honestly, I really hope that they keep going back, and I would almost be okay if they just spend like a month or 2 months touching up old or existing champs. Like Falcon needs so much love. He's got a good base, but his numbers are just nowhere near where they need to be for him to be even remotely relevant. Like the most difficult thing about Falcon is just the chip damage on his special one. He could have a really awesome synergy if they ever figured out how to do his Red Wing properly, but even that's really meh, you know? Yeah, or like a blade-esque sort of thing. Where it isn't danger sense, it's like animal sense or hunter sense or whatever. I'd be down with that because then like they would have a synergy with Elsa Bloodstone and Hunters of the Contest, right? Could be interesting. Wish I could trigger his ability. That'd make Iron Man a little bit more manageable. But then again, like danger sense, at least for dimensional beings, is I don't know, pretty. I don't want to say broken because it's still working as intended, but it's just such a forgotten afterthought at this point. Like a Galactus, like God of War style, like a God of War 3 where you're fighting Kronos. It could be fun. The way I figured it is that it might be like a community wide event. Like if the community is able to meet X amount of fights or goals or whatever every week or every couple of weeks or something like that, then it's there's like they release like a motion comic or something of okay, now we wrapped his feet up in tow cables and he's gonna trip or something like that. But it takes like every single summoner with every single champ to do something about him. Stupid. Infinity Man's a pain in the butt. Do you know that? Just asking randomly. Okay, so I got that. So we got the Fury up now. Wait till he gets rid of that stupid armor. Cool. Special 3M. Perfect. Oh, I wouldn't doubt that at all. I wouldn't doubt that at all. To be fair, it was pretty OP, but um, since I don't think they're ever coming out with Blade as a 6-star, it's still pretty dumb. See, that could be fun. That could be fun. I hope they do have fun with it. That isn't just going to be like, oh, it's going to be like a boss rush where you've got Silver Surfer and you've got Terrax and then Cosmic Ghost Rider or whomever else they throw at you. Where you got to fight the whoever the heralds are, and then you get a motion comic with Galactus defeated at the end. That'd be such a letdown. But it'll be interesting too to see what they do with that new Realm of Champions. Because I mean they've got the crossover event this month, and then it's being released soon-ish. But if like the Galactus arc crosses over from us to the new game, or if they just like you know move on and do their own thing. I was almost half expecting to see like a Peggy Carter Captain America, Captain Britain. Does she even have an official name as Captain whomever super soldier? Yeah, Odin could be fun. You know what? Speaking of which, they had teased that they were working on Stormbreaker Thor, but he wasn't on that list. That's a bummer. I mean, not like we really need another Thor, but if we were going to get another Thor, we really need that version, you know? Have him dual wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. And like still have the thunder power like Fraggle Rock has, but you know, give it a little bit more oomph. Maybe someday. But all I know is that White Widow is coming out next month, and so is Sheriff Hopper. So what the heck? Why not? Could be fun. It'd be interesting to see what they do with the character in the movie, Red Guardian. It's already a pretty solid looking departure from the comics, but could be interesting. But I was really expecting a Taskmaster, an MCU Taskmaster as well. They probably would have too if they didn't decide earlier on that they were going to cut back character production to 2 a month instead of the occasional 3, which I appreciate. As an arena grinder, I appreciate that. Here we go. Um, I think there's still a quantity difference. Like I think like Mystics still are missing a couple of champs relative to everybody else. But I don't know. I'm not tired of Mystics because each one that they've come out with for the last 5 months has been fantastic. But I think I mean, you know, maybe just throw a couple more Mystics in the mix too. But I think they need a couple new Science champs as well. Because the entirety of last year, we just got the Fantastic Four. But I think they were saying at a what Red Guardians Science. So we also need tech, like new tech champs. Just because if you're playing the prestige game, tech is by far the weakest. Oh yeah, I mean they were running into QC issues already as it is. So yeah, I'll give them a pass on 3 champs a month. You know, if they can keep their servers up and running a little bit more consistently, you know. That's why I don't mind the schedule maintenance. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, you do what you got to do for that 1, 2, 3 hours, whatever it is, so your game doesn't bug out like an hour before an arena ends, like it used to. And I'll be a happy camper. All right. You know, he needs a little bit of love as Diablo. Because you can see, like, the rough draft prototype for a number of future champs in Diablo's kit. It's just that Diablo got the raw end of the deal there. Because he is suboptimal, to say the least. Yeah, yeah. I think Hyperion's whole circle has kind of been, well, it's definitely been forgotten. But even him as a champ in the game, you know, like in the game storyline, he's what, just chilling with Howard someplace in their apartment or their house or whatever, and then he just shows up randomly as a one-off every couple of months. But like he isn't tied to any of the overarching storylines or anything. He's just kind of there, despite being arguably one of the most OP cosmic champs in the game. Hopefully, he winds up getting a 6-star at some point, and that he isn't going to be like Scarlet Witched into oblivion. There's no MCU Scarlet Witch either. You could have a field day with that, especially with WandaVision coming out. But no, we get Impossible Man instead. Who I'm sure, you know, might have an interesting, unique kit, but I don't know. Like the entirety of last year was devoted to Fantastic Four and characters in the Fantastic Four, you know, sphere, right? So for that to keep continuing as heavy as it seems that it may, it's kind of like, can we do something a little bit different? They brought Hyperion into the MCU. Did I miss that? It'd be really interesting if they did. Kind of another big middle finger to DC and Superman. I wouldn't be surprised if Inhumans gets rebooted somehow as either a film or like in the Disney Plus, like Wave 2 or whatever. Because there are just too many characters uh, in the Inhumans, you know, than the main row family and their spheres to just completely go unnoticed. Plus, since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still canon, I mean, Inhumans are still canon. So hopefully they aren't just forgotten. But you never know. I mean, if they're like diving into the deep end with the mutants, then everybody else still may take another back seat. Yeah, probably a movie. Me personally, the more TV shows you can throw at me, the better. I'm so spoiled by the long form narrative now, especially when you've got shows like as good as like Netflix Daredevil was, or Punisher, or Luke Cage and Jessica Jones season ones. Like you would never be able to capture that level of detail and development in a film. Like what they do with Avengers and the MCU works. Um, but like if you would take just like a single MCU film and pair that against like a season from Netflix, you know, one of the more memorable ones, it doesn't compare. Like the only reason they're able to stand side by side now is that, Iron Man's been in what, 6, 7 MCU movies. Cap has been in 5 or 6. So like you still have that long running like recognition of characters and their development. But that's me rambling. Yeah, absolutely. And who are they saying? Like Kang is the potential new big bad, immediate big bad. Hopefully, whatever it is, whenever they do introduce the Fantastic Four, they don't do Doom right out of the gate again. Because at least each time they reboot Spidey, they come up with a different villain to throw at us the first time around, whether it's Green Goblin or is it a Lizard, and then a Vulture. So at least it's fresh because we don't need a third failed iteration of Doctor Doom. Ouch. Yeah, it really is. That's why I just couldn't ever do one of those huge movie marathons where they just stream the entirety of the MCU. That's like what 2 days at this point, right? Like I enjoy watching the movies, but I need a break in between. Like kudos to those guys who do though. But like I read into and have seen some of like the strategy going into it. Like, okay, these are the movies that you can sleep through. I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of seeing all the movies, you know? If you're sleeping or napping through parts or entire films. Besides, with the capstone being the new film at the very end, do you really want to go into a brand new exciting film like weary and just completely wasted emotionally and mentally? But I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, heck yeah. I am all for Krasinski and Blunt as Reed and Sue. Like it would be fun just, with that, real world wink, like, hey, they're actually, the real deal. But I'm a big Emily Blunt fan, so to see her incorporated into the MCU somehow would be fun. And John Krasinski, he's proving himself to be a pretty solid all around actor too. So they've already got the natural chemistry that could be fun. That was I'm blanking on his first name, but Bell. not Jordan Bell. But he was on AMC and then Netflix's Turn Washington Spies. Jamie Bell, I think. He's a solid actor. So that could be fun. That could be fun. Kind of makes me. I mean, you would have to have the Fantastic Four all together in one movie. You know, you would have to. It's not like you could just introduce Sue and Reed in one film and then Johnny and Thing in the next, right? You would have to have all four of them together, but you'd have to have a really capable screenwriter and director on board to be able to introduce all four of those characters, enough backstory to make it work, and enough character development to hold together a film, plus like an antagonist without it getting like bogged down or tiresome or just whitewashed. Because the last thing you want is like, your average moviegoer to come out of the theater being like, okay, that was the rock dude, that was the comedian, that's the scientist, and that's the scientist's wife, right? Like you did in the original uh, Fantastic Four film version. And let's do MODOK. I think you can pull it off. I think you can pull it off. Because if you can get Benedict Cumberbatch up there saying gibberish and Mark Ruffalo, playing some brilliant scientist too, I don't doubt that, you can make John Krasinski work as the smartest man ever. Yeah, Wolverine's going to be tough. I and I don't have a good idea for that either. Like it might not even just be a bad idea to just say that regular Wolverine is dead and just go, you know, straight into X-23. Bring back the actress from last time and just keep rolling with that. And some New Mutants. Then maybe have like a actual Wolverine reveal later on. But I really don't envy that actor, whomever it is. I will say though, if they do Wolverine, I hope they do a more comic accurate Wolverine, where he's short and squat and gruff, as opposed to Hugh Jackman. Physicality wise, I guess, height wise, really. Props to huge jacked man, though, for really following through with the role. Because like his build in the original X-Men, as opposed to like by the time he was doing the standalone films, is nuts. Excuse me, nuts. But it depends too what they wind up doing with WandaVision. If she's able to, shift from dimension to dimension and reality to reality, who knows who they're going to pull from each. I would almost half expect for a couple of the universes to cross over somehow. Supposedly they're bringing Charlie Cox in for She-Hulk somehow, but that might just be me wishful thinking, just to get Charlie Cox back in the role. You know what they should do for Squirrel Girl is like an animated series, kind of like how they're doing with Harley Quinn, and I guess MODOK too, for some reason. But you know, she could. I think she could be a lot more fun uh, without like that limitation of reality. But you could get what, not Anna Kendrick, but yeah, Anna Kendrick, right? As Squirrel Girl. Yeah, yeah, especially if they're spinning off the Venom verse into the MCU. But we just need to see Tom Hardy in more things as well, preferably with you know, without him wearing a mask of some sort. Because the dude can act, but he acts a lot better when his face isn't impaired with a Bane mask or a, you know, ventilator or uh, or anything else. You get like Tom Hardy coming in doing like a Bronson character or like his character from Peaky Blinders. Could be fun. He could, but I don't want to say he's too old because he isn't old. But I mean, at the same time, he isn't a young guy anymore either. But truth be told, I don't want to say I feel bad for Henry Cavill, but I kind of feel bad for him. Like on paper and even just looking at the dude, he is he was born to play Superman. He just got stuck with with a number of really bad scripts. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like who I would imagine like a real life version of Superman would be, you know, Chris Reeves obviously, but Henry Cavill just friggin' nailed it look wise. Costume kind of sucked though. But he kind of just needs that like I don't know. He needs a good script to work with. I haven't seen Witcher yet. I've heard it's fun. I haven't played the game, so I or read the book really, so I'd be going into it fresh. But looks interesting, and I've heard he looks the part. So so we'll see. Plus, there's a whole new wave of young actors coming up too that me and my old fart mindset, I just aren't even aware of them yet. So, whole new source of untapped potential. Just bringing new characters and new angles. Assuming, of course, that they keep going as strong with the new wave phase 4 as they did with the original crew. Yeah. Yeah, duly noted on Witcher. Game of Thrones was interesting. Save that for when the kids go to bed. Yeah, or like a reboot or a one-off something, you know. Maybe not make it as grandiose, but give them a chance to work with some material with the character, where you don't wind up wasting half the movie with stupid exploding set pieces that no one cares about just for the sake of having a stupid exploding set piece. I'm still holding my breath on Batman. I think it really just depends on the direction that they want to take the series. It looks very year one to me, which could be fun. Um, I'm not going to knock Robert Pattinson. I think he's developing into a decent actor, but it's WB, so jury's still out. And I absolutely am not holding my breath for if and when, and most likely they do a Joker sequel. I just think that that's just going to be everybody phoning it in, getting a paycheck. So long as the Batman movie finds its niche and like doing something that hasn't been done yet between Gotham TV show and the Nolan movies, and maybe it could be interesting, could be worthwhile. Hopefully, I hope. Um, Maybe I could see it. I think you would definitely have to grow into the role, but I don't know. I don't know. Like if he does get the role, I would only want to see him in maybe two movies tops. Because the guy isn't young, but he's not old either. He's what, mid late 30s, something like that. So by the time he's gets around to being cast and they wind up doing a couple movies, he's going to be what, mid late 40s, and nah, he's done by then. Should be done by then. So I really liked what they did with Daniel Craig when they did Casino Royale. And like you maybe find an actor who's maybe just a wee bit younger than that still too, but you know you start in on a Bond who's still cutting his teeth, as opposed to like calm, cool, and collected from the word go. Because where do you go with that? But I completely forgotten that there's a new Bond movie coming out this year or early next. It couldn't be any worse than the last three from a story point of view. Cinematography is bloody brilliant. Story wise, it's super weak. But then again, I just hold Casino Royale in a very, very high regard. Hmm. All right. Uh, I don't know. I'd have to disagree with you there. I think Kit Harington made a great Jon Snow, but I haven't been impressed with his other filmography. I mean, maybe I'm always happy to be proven wrong. Oh, oh, look at that! It lost by 1%. Stupid Warlock. But I mean, maybe. But they definitely could keep flexing over some of the Game of Thrones cast into MCU. Because I don't think they have anybody in the mainline MCU yet, right? Got a bunch of actors in the Fox movies, but I'm probably just blanking on anybody who's in the mainline MCU. Thanks, Darkhawk. Should get Peter Dinklage to be Wolverine. Dude would kill it. Oh, that might be. Ouch! Ouch! Stop it. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see what direction they wind up going with all of that. If they wind up, well, because I mean, they're bringing Ryan Reynolds back for like an MCU Deadpool, right? So if he's canon, then presumably the other two movies are going to be canon, which means presumably the Fox X-Men cast are canon somehow. So we'll see. Or they could just do like a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey thing and just retcon everything, and that's that. Yeah, You know what? If they can turn Rocket Raccoon into a serious character where you get an entire audience to empathize with him, and he's just a talking raccoon, Peter Dinklage could like turn in an Emmy or an Oscar performance as Puck. No doubt. And I think Emilia Clarke just needs a good script. She's a really solid actress, but like Terminator was a bad script and Solo was a bad script. And Game of Thrones season 8 was a bad script. Ouch. But I mean, they're both solid actors. Give them something to sink their teeth into. Speaking of solid actors, I don't want to say I'm excited for Natalie Portman, but Natalie Portman coming back could be a good thing. Hey Nathan, how you doing? Could be a good thing. Because again, she's a really good actor when she wants to be. She also blatantly phones in performances too when she wants to. So I don't know if it's her movie and she's got, full agency to kind of just do her own thing. It could be really good. I'm hoping it's really good. Because I'm not a big fan of Natalie Portman's when she just phones it in. Cheers. Appreciate you checking out some of the other stuff I've put out. It's definitely been a roller coaster between the various crystal openings and just finishing up the main storyline. But especially after today's opening, I definitely feel that the karma train is kind of coming back to roost for a while. So we'll see. Stay tuned for the next one when Storm X comes out, because I want me one of them. Yeah, cheers. That was super, super lucky. Because after I pulled those two sentries, I thought the whole thing was going to be a bust. Like, it didn't have to be. Sentry is so close to being a really good champ. And I'm much happier to have an awakened Sentry than an unawakened one. It's just that even with him at max sig, and he needs to be max sig to really maximize his potential, it still is. I hate the RNG aspect of it. And his synergies suck, which is the biggest deal breaker for me. But yeah, I mean, then we got the still Spidey and then the brand new Carnage, who is also a big one. Even though he's gonna probably forever stay at rank 1, the new champs are always great for fleshing out arena teams. So cheers. I can't remember though the last time. Getting back to the new Thor movie and Natalie Portman, I can't remember the last comedy that she did though, because like the one I think of is what No Strings Attached or whatever it was. And that one was at best. So to see what she does with Taika Waititi, and especially what Thor Ragnarok kind of laid the groundwork for, it'll be interesting. But we should still be getting the Disney Plus stuff on schedule, I think, right? So Falcon and Winter Soldier is what, summer, fall, something like that. Fall, I think. And then everything else is next year. Yeah. I will say, still Spidey is so satisfying to play. He's really grown on me. Just when you get the debuff on the enemy up, and then you get your Fury buff up, and then just do another combo ending in a special one. Get like 15k off of the special one by itself, in addition to just the 6-hit combo or 7, whatever it is. Beautiful. But it's just so smooth. Ouch. Ouch. I think the dude just melts. And if I do wind up getting more SIGs on Stealth Spidey, Fury only goes uphill from there. So it's exciting stuff. Alrighty, I'm gonna say probably gonna have to tap out after this one. I'm about ready for my bedtime. Yeah. All right, friend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Rest up, and we'll catch you in the next one. Be well, buddy. And there we go. That is gonna do me. I'm gonna sit at 31 mil for tonight. Keep going, and then hopefully be significantly higher come the start of next live stream. But again, that's gonna do me for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. I am gonna go to bed and get some Z's. We're gonna be streaming again tomorrow night, and whenever you're watching this, I'm probably going to be streaming that night too. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to like and subscribe, new channel, and all that helps me out. And until next time, take care. Talk soon. Stay safe, and be well, everybody. Bye for now.